Paris has been really difficult this year on Pete Sampras, losing to Gilbert Schaller of Austria in the first round of the French Open to close out a disappointing clay court run. But this will definitely make up for it.
15-0.
Nice bit of touch from Becker. Draws the error. 30 love.
Boris Becker playing again a nice shot. He not able to get to it. Scrambling. Great body serve and great athletic ability by Boris Becker, showing you how high you get up for those overheads. Boris plays a lot of basketball.
Boris Becker, nice way to start out set 3. He's not going away anytime soon.
Il fallait une Java, en effet une batte, écoutez-la. Mais je vous préviens surtout, je suis pas poète du tout. Mes couplets ne riment pas bien, mais je m'en fous.
Welcome back to Paris. Pete Sampras has never yet won the French Open. It's something he'd dearly like to win. But he was happy with his 95 in all, 4 titles, including 2 majors, Wimbledon and the U.S. Open. But he's had some funny losses, hasn't he? Losing in Philadelphia to Paul Harheis. In Barcelona, he went out in the second round to Oliver Gross. Fabrice Santoro took him out of the Italian Open in the first round. French Open, we mentioned, he lost to Gilbert Schaller. Indianapolis, he lost to Bernd Karbach. Those are not the kind of losses Andre Agassi took. Agassi won 7 titles this year, one of which was a Grand Slam title, the first of the year, the Australian, where he beat Pete in the final. But as Pete says, he says, look, the majors are what counts for me. You know, I mean, that's the deal. 15 all.
Remember, when you're a target like Pete Sampras, everyone knows when they play the Andre Agassi's, the Boris Beckers, the Pete Samprases, they're coming with all the game they have. Pete Sampras, when he's playing Oliver Gross, it's like, man, I just have to play it about 60, 50, 60%. I'm going to win. But Oliver Gross, a very inspired Oliver Gross on the dirt, goes out and plays great tennis, serves big, hits big forehands.
30-15.
There was Barbara Becker in your picture just a little while ago.
I know what you're saying about Pete, Luke Jensen, but I do feel that now that Pete will once again regain the #1 spot, and so many of us feel he's such a remarkable player. He's trying to be the best ever. I wish he wouldn't take those kind of hits in the non-majors, in the non-Super 9 events. I just think he's so good, and when he comes to those tournaments, you know, people want to see him win.
I think this year for Pete Sampras has been one to really get healthy again.
And he is very fit, but I honestly feel one of the big reasons that Andre Agassi could not beat Sampras at the U.S. Open, apart from the fact that Sampras played glorious tennis, is that Agassi was coming off four titles in a row. He'd had a very hard summer, and it hurt him. But Agassi, very, very professional throughout that summer. He had a tough loss to Becker in the semis at Wimbledon and rebounded big time, and it hurt him at the Open. That goes out, and it's another game for Pete Sampras, 1-all. In fact, I think one of the most poignant remarks made by any tennis player this year is what Andre Agassi said after he lost to Sampras at the U.S. Open final. Someone said, well, you had a great summer. You know, you won all those titles after Wimbledon. He said, yeah, I'd give all 26 wins back for this one.
New balls in play. Boris Becker showing Pete Sampras the new bullets. I believe you can't predict when you're going to play well. You can't predict when you're going to peak. You're going to try to set your schedule around it. But look at Boris Becker. The year before, last year, he lost first round of the U.S. Open to Richie Renneberg, but he'd won New Haven, won Los Angeles. He was on a roll. He lost early at the Open. Michael Stich, on the other hand, had an awful summer, goes into the U.S. Open, and reaches the final. So you just can't predict. You got to take your wins where you can take them. You can't say, well, I'm going to lose this week because I'm going to win Wimbledon.
Right.
I'm going to be fresh.
15-all.
I think Pete, once he starts playing more events in a healthy state, he was always trying to find his feet. He twisted his ankle in Monte Carlo. I think last year he took so many months off. He has to find his fitness again, and he's a rhythm player. His serve is big, his ground strokes, but he needs to hit a lot of balls for timing.
Not quite on the Becker serve in this return game. 40-15. That's lovely. 14 aces now for Boris Becker on serve in set 3. We've been talking about Pete Sampras' 95. A disappointing first half was marked by a struggle at the French Open against Gilbert Schaller, a first-round loss. But later in the year, Pete reversed his fortunes. At the U.S. Open, he capped his second straight Grand Slam title with a final day win over Andre Agassi. First point to Becker. That's number 10 for Sampras.
I like when Pete Sampras really steps up and means to hit a serve like that. That's 201 Ks right there. Over 120 miles an hour. Really accelerating the head through the ball. Becker not able to run that one down, but Pete Sampras really starting to open up the court. There's a good picture of the banners of the former champions. They have hanging around the entire court, starting in 1986 with a baby-faced Boris Becker.
Two aces this game.
If you practice with Pete Sampras and playing him sets, he has to take pace off his serve just to get into some kind of rallies, or it just turns into a serve fest for him.
Good-looking hole. From a man who will wake up tomorrow morning and once again be #1 in the world. Senior PGA Tour Championship Golf coming your way this Thursday night. Starting at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 days of coverage. Ray Floyd, the defending champion there. Defending champion here, Andre Agassi, could not come back. Boris Becker, a 3-time winner of this event, still trying to make it 4.
Boris Becker with the big wind-up from the forehand. Pete Sampras, who's going to anchor the U.S. Davis Cup team when they go to play in the finals in Moscow on the red clay indoors in the Olympic Stadium.
15 aces for Boris Becker.
The U.S. has been able to really rely on the likes of Agassi and Sampras and Jim Courier. Todd Martin, who's in the doubles final here, probably be playing doubles for us in Moscow.
Todd Martin playing this week with Jim Grab. There really is no officially U.S. Davis Cup doubles team. Double faults number 5 for Boris Becker.
Saturday was our day for doubles. I mean, you think of Flaxaguso, McEnroe, and Peter Fleming. Of course, Rick Leach and Jim Pugh dominated, was our last dominating doubles team. They never lost a match to this day and were yanked from the team. Now we're really struggling to find that winning combination again.
Well, that doubles team really busted up, didn't they? Rick Leach and Jim Pugh stopped playing together.
The pressure of being #1 week in, week out really built on that team.
That goes well long. 30 all. Boris Becker and Michael Stich played against the Russians in the semifinals in Moscow last month. At the same time the U.S. was beating Sweden, they were up 2-0. And Becker Stich playing doubles against Kafelnikov and Olhovsky. They lost that match. Becker got hurt, couldn't play the following day. Bernd Karbacher lost his singles match, and then Stich lost an incredible singles match in the 5th rubber.
He had 9
to Andrei
match points.
Chesnikov, serving with 9 match points against Chesy.
A former Wimbledon champion with one of the nicest, biggest serves in the game. And then the very next week goes over on that ankle, and he's got a long wait.
Now 16 aces for Becker. And a game point.
Pete Sampras showing why he's the king now at Wimbledon. Now showing why he's up 2-0 against Boris Becker. Able to hit all the shots, match up toe-to-toe with Becker, and then rip passing shots like this. Zip them at the feet of Becker.
Luke, we keep seeing Becker trying to approach to the Sampras backhand. He keeps coming up with the goods time and again.
Becker's backhand, Sampras's backhand just has been so solid.
Deuce.
Sampras has hit so many great angles from the passing shot department. If I'm Boris Becker, I would start approaching down the middle. It cuts off the angle from Pete Sampras. Another great point for Pete Sampras. He's 2 for 8 this match. Boris Becker is 1 for 5. These big matches really come down to converted break points.